Welcome guys, Brayden here from Terminated Gaming, and once again we're back on World of Warships with another replay. This time, once again, we're in Tier 9 Benham, USS Benham, which is a Tier 9, of course, American DD. Benham's an amazing ship. I've went over it a couple times now on the channel, so feel free to go check out those other games. Just to clear the air real quick, yes, I am pink for this game. I believe this was the last game that I was pink in, and I have my clan member, 90. Thank you for sailing into my torpedoes that I warned you about. So basically, on a couple games before this, I said to 90, hey, I'm launching torpedoes, and he was on my right, and I was going to launch torpedoes from my left side, so I swerved to launch my torpedoes at a target. 90 saying, okay, then proceeds to swerve left in front of said torpedoes, turning me pink. So, thanks, 90. Anyways, this is not that match, of course. This is trap domination, and I spawned B, so I'm heading B. Of course, I'm running RPF, and as I said in previous games, I like to launch torpedoes along the RPF bearing. Of course, RPF does not update super quickly, so that bearing could be false, and it will be false. So, and it'll be really surprising what actually comes in and contests me inside of B. But this video, of course, is titled "I've Hit a Slump" because this was my first win after 12 matches. I had 12 consecutive losses one day, and this happened to be my win. Spoiler alert: this is my win. We win this match. But I hadn't been playing as well as I had been previously, so now it's time to step it up and see where we can go from there. I've never once claimed to be like an amazing player at this game. I'm thoroughly just above average, and so this is one of those games where it's just going to be an above average match probably for most people. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to watch. Of course, not so much now, but this is pretty boring. We solo cap B here. There's a cyclone coming in, and then all of a sudden we spot enemy torpedoes. So I'm like, oh hey, a DD's in this cap with me, which you know would probably be reasonable. Or a DD is approaching this cap. Of course, Benham 5.9 detection range. So if this island wasn't here, we'd be spotted from any section of this cap. And there. That is what's an Ibuki has decided to come in and challenge me. So I make distance between me and him so he doesn't spot me right away. Of course, I'm giving myself only 100 meters here. But I was the one spotting him, so no one, of course, is going to be able to support me. The only person really in a position to support me was our friendly lion. But he wouldn't have had time to really react while I wasn't being able to spot that guy, because I'd be putting myself at a danger if I was. So now I'm just trying to get ahead of him to maybe launch torps at his location. I request support because he is a cruiser and I'm a destroyer, and the only way I'm going to get him is if I can launch torps at him. But I'm pretty sure the Buki does have a hydro. So I get the one side off and I start laying smoke, because the smoke will block contact even though I'm not in it. He hard turns. I mean, rightfully so, that you don't want to continue going forward. There's of course a Georgia and Alaska to now behind me, which we're in a position to come back and support me. I launched these torps, and even though I really shouldn't have, I knew the Ibuki wasn't going to continue going that way. He's going to turn back. But I launched them just as maybe a hope and a prayer that he maybe ran aground or something. And the only reason I laid that smoke was to break contact with him so he didn't get a single shot off on me. But now, of course, I'm not going to be able to use that smoke because that's not in a position to be very useful. Maybe a notice that you might have seen between this and the last time we saw Benham on the channel is I've switched out and now I'm running Survivability Expert so I can have a little bit more health, as Benham does not get a heal like the Pan EU DDs do. So this one really benefits from having a little extra health. Much like other gunboats, but Benham seems to take a lot of hits, especially when I am sailing it, so I wanted to make sure I had the health to deal with it. So I launched torps at the Ibuki here on that bearing, and then I'm wanting to make sure this guy's dead, because he's our biggest threat to us right now. I do hold the other launcher to launch it on the other side of that island, just in case I could catch something else with torpedoes. But of course, the first set looked really good against the Ibuki, as he did not change course. So we get him with 2 torpedoes there. And if we wouldn't have got him, I'm pretty sure everybody else on the team would have. So at that point, it was just making sure it was dead. I thank the Alaska here because he did really push himself into a bad spot just to help me, which is I'm very thankful for. Most teammates would have just left me to the wolves there, but thankfully that Ibuki was not too keen on staying around too close to me. So now I'm just trying to figure out. I'm looking at my RPF to figure out what ship's close to me, so that way I can get some torpedoes off on something. But I got to push into a position where I can, as everything's a little bit further back, like this Jean Bar and this Palmer. Of course, I'd rather target the Jean Bar here, as the Palmer does have hydroacoustic search. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out which way the Jean Bar is going, and of course, right now he's reversing, slowing down, and so he's going to probably speed back up. So here I'm still gonna misjudge this torpedo launch against him. So I launched a set thinking maybe he'd stop or slow down again. So then I launched another one slightly ahead of that. If he slows down and stops, then he just keeps speeding up, speeding up, speeding up. So I'm trying to turn the other side around so maybe I can launch that side. And then yeah, notice he is slowing down now, but he's only slowing down enough where my torpedo indicator is showing that wreck ship. There's a stationary wreck ship on this map. So I launched another set, and actually both sets along that same bearing towards him. But I think we might clip one with the back torpedo on the first set. Or on the second set, sorry. Nope, he just avoids that off his rear. More torpedoes out on him. He's speeding back up again. So potentially we might get some hits here, but if he's running speed boost, he should be able to outrun the torpedoes quite easily. But then he starts to turn in. If he can cut that turn a little bit more, he's going to avoid those again. Makes me wonder if the Palmer's actually running his Hydra out there at that range. But thankfully the first set of torpedoes is back up again. I get detected here, and that is by the enemy Yugamo, so I start smoking up. I, of course, don't have torpedoes up. And with me smoking up, nobody can see the Yugamo. We end up getting 3 gun hits on the Yugamo from that position, and I start reversing so that way I can maybe get my left side torpedoes up in the 3 seconds to launch at him. The Jean Bar is still flooding from my torpedo hit from earlier, and I actually decide to launch at him again instead of trying to get into position to launch at the Yugumo, and ooh, just skim that torpedo across the bow there. The Yugumo is now out in open water off to our left, as the RPF indicator is indicating. He's now the closest target, but now it switches back. So really, it's actually the Oster pushing and flanking me from the other side. So I just need to break contact. I'm outgunned here by 2 DDs. But of course, my right side is now opened up, so I can just swing that right side around and look for shell tracers out of that smoke, see if they're moving, and then just launch those and start my merry way out of here, as there is not a radar close, and now the Cyclone's in full effect. It doesn't look like we got any torpedo hits against that Jean Bar out there. Actually, we did. We got 1 against him. We clipped him again for another flood, but of course his damage con was up on that one, so we are making him use his damage con each time by doing this. And of course here it's my left side torpedoes that are up, and I'm like, ah, dang it. Really wish that was my right side, but of course I used my right side earlier. Sent the torpedoes through the Yugumo smoke, but it seems like he might have left. So now I'm actually going to push aggressively outward here, as there's 3 enemy ships to the north, but there's several here to the south, and I really want to get them with torpedoes. Well, especially the Jean Bar that I've been bullying the whole game. As the more times we can get him flooding, the greater chances that he will just sink to our flooding. We spot the Ostrogalon here. I launch torpedoes and then hit speed boost because I don't have my smoke screen active, otherwise I would have dropped that. He opens up with an AP salvo. I just start off immediately with HE. He's getting pretty good hits. Me, not so much. I swerve outward to get all the guns out. He continues sailing in a straight line, and he gets clipped by a torpedo and dies. That was a pretty good guess on my part of his approximate course and bearing, but of course he's relayed my position to their enemy Jean Bar, who now has probably decided to not do what he's doing and change up his course and speed, but mostly his course. As you can see, he would have been sailing to our left, but now he's sailing back to the right. Of course, now he knows he's spotted, and I got to be careful here as I am quickly approaching his location. I launch the first set and then the second set at the same bearing, and I just barely skirt detection here. And the reason I held the second set because I figured he was going to turn like he did. And I launched this set, but I should have cut this one just in case, because he is going to avoid these first ones, and see he's turning inward. Well, he's not going to avoid all of them, but he is turning inwards to try to avoid. So those next set are worthless because it's on that same bearing as if he was going to continue. So we only clip him with one, cause a flood again. So now all we need to do is clip him with more torpedoes and this a permanent flood. Which now I'm going to try to push and get that. There's an enemy Alaska who's in the middle of B right now, and I think I'm almost within his radar range. So if he were to radar, I would get spotted for the Jean Bar, and I recognize that now with the Alaska. Of course, we can't see the Alaska because of the cyclone, but he is in B, right on the other side of the island from our Jean Bar. So I'm going to head back and try to support over there. They've quickly cleared up north. There was only 3 enemy ships left up there, so very good that they did. And with that, they just sunk the last Alaska up north. So now it's only the enemy team that's now in B. Of course, I could just launch torpedoes here. I'm well within range to launch them. But I wanted to get close enough to see if this Alaska was moving forward or backwards. Really, I should have just took the blinds, but as you notice, we wouldn't have been able to actually hit this Alaska here. Of course, Alaska probably notices that he's spotted right now and wondering why. But I get around the corner, so his radar means nothing. Of course, the Alaska was not the only thing around that corner. The torpedo. There's also the Yagumo. So the Yagumo is the bigger threat right now, and as you can see, the RPF indicator is not on where the Alaska would be. There's a Yagumo that's going to be most likely pushing our location. We do get one torpedo hit against the Alaska. Clipped him with the last one again, as I mispredicted his speed. But that flood is going to stick for a little bit because he was on fire. So, which is really nice to get some more flood damage. So we're up to 92,000 damage now with that flood ticking, and we're up to 2 kills. Really, we're just here to kind of support. The Alaska is going to try and it looks like the Alaska is going to try to push our location, and then the Yagumo pops up. So I pop my smoke. I really don't like to get in these gunfights against these ZDs. I'd much rather not get in the gunfight. I launched more torps on the reverse bearing. I got him with the first set again. That's the second destroyer that we've killed with torpedoes by just going in a straight line. That puts us at 108,000 damage and 3 kills. And I'm like, ooh, maybe we get the Alaska with another torpedo here? Maybe. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he avoided. And you notice I double backed on the smoke screen and missed the enemy torpedoes there. But we are keeping that Alaska thinking. It's like, oh boy, I just got had torpedoes launched at me by the enemy Benham. Granted, there's also the Zuguma over here by me, as you notice now. I didn't know he was there for the... Or, I didn't situationally know he was that close to me, so I turned the other way, that way his... And then I'm like, debating if I should launch these torps at this Alaska, but the Yuguma shows that he's slowing down, so... I wasn't going to launch him if he kept going. I decided to use my guns here. Yuguma is going to get the Alaska with torps. I aim at him. You're probably wondering why I aimed at him. It was because I was going to say, good job. We got the Alaska before the radar got back up, which is important. There's only 3 enemy ships left, the Palmerin and the 2 Jean Bar. And we're going to try to get into position to torp these guys, but they're going to die quickly. There's a lot of our team left. They're decently healthy, except for our Iowa. He's taken a beating, but it was a close match there for a while. They are up on points, so they technically would win if they just lived. But they're so close that they're going to just start sinking. Because there's less than 4 minutes on this match. There goes our Iowa, so it's still pretty close. This enemy Jean Bar here, this Jean Bar B, is actually sailing forward, so I can't get torps on him. He's going to push forward to his death right there. And this other Jean Bar is going to push through that gap up there, so we're not going to be able to get anything on him either. Which is very disappointing that they didn't make it sporting for me or this Yugumo here at the end of the match. I launched these without even checking where the Yugumo's location was, and actually he was on the other side of me, so this was safe. But I really should have checked where the Yugumo was first. So I decided, let's just shoot the guns now. Jean Bar kills our Georgia with the secondaries, and technically he could still win this match. So this is a problem. But we do have 2 DDs left on our team, and we can both go and get that last cap and stop his points. But I'm all out of all my utility. I've wasted it all this match. And I'm just trying to lob shells at this Jean Bar at this point. And I'm like, I'm gonna stop shooting. I don't want to shoot the Buffalo, but the Buffalo says hug me in chat and rams the Jean Bar for the win. Now, not a lot of damage, 110,900 damage, 9 torp hits, 3 kills. Of course, 2 of those were destroyers running into our torpedoes. And we caused 8 floodings, which is pretty good if you look at compared to the other games we've had in the Benham. 1 capture and 1 assisted cap. We did manage to get B back just before the end of the match. Oops. We came second on the team in XP. 25 we came first on the team in XP with almost 2600 XP with our 3 kills and with the captures and just being useful, trying to be useful. The detailed report, very well spread out damage except for against that 1 Jean Bar that we really went after. We didn't spot for very much damage, and most of our damage of course came from torpedoes, with only 10 coming from the guns, mostly against enemy DDs. 338,000 potential damage. We didn't get shot at much because I don't like being shot at, in a destroyer at least. And then because the Benham's a premium, we made 1.3 million credits profit, and of course all of my commander XP is going to elite XP because that's a 21 point captain. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If so, rate me much appreciated, and I'll catch you guys most definitely on the next one. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.